Hi guys, this is Price Peterson.
And Tim Surratt.
And Jen Trolio.
And we are here to talk about our wonderful day at Comic-Con in our Comic Convo Day 3.
Saturday.
It's Saturday. It was kind of the big day, I would say.
Yes.
I mean, I think yesterday was pretty busy, but today was kind of a centerpiece day because a lot of people come. It was probably the most crowded I've seen it. Everyone had their Saturday badges on. And we went to some very important panels and did some important coverage today.
Yes.
Do you agree? I mean, I'm not just saying that because I am crunked right now. We just got back from...
What does that even mean?
I don't... It's like the
It's
teens say
It's,
that, I
if
think.
you're from the street, you know.
I'm from the street. Everyone who's seen a picture of me knows, like, that guy is from the street.
That's true.
We just came back from the NBC Digital Party. And just so you know, when you write about TV, occasionally get invited to, you know... to like network events.
Yeah, everyone has seen it on their Twitter feeds where every other site has been posting pictures of parties that they've been to all week long. But this was our first party.
We got invited to a party. You know, a lot of other fancy venues get invited to parties, multiple parties every night. We got invited to one.
And we went.
And just it's it's NBC. You know, it was like open bar. Just if you want to know the nitty gritty,
it was fun. You know what? It was fun.
It was fun.
Who cares?
Famous people were there.
There were famous people.
And that was by design. They want to give reporters free alcohol, food, and access to famous people. And we took advantage of all three. We ate really amazing deep-fried appetizers, and we forced famous people awkwardly to take pictures with us.
Yes.
Jen got a picture with the lead actor from Grimm.
Named David.
His name is David. His last name I still cannot pronounce. It's
well,
like
we're on first name basis now.
We're on a first name basis, and let me just tell you, you don't need to have a pronounceable last name if you look like that.
That's true.
So, you know, husband number 2 for Jen. We've met.
Oh, goodness. He's pretty.
But maybe we should backtrack. And
also, Monroe was there. Silas Ware Mitchell.
Well, you know, I don't want to leave him out.
Hey, the Grimm fans were fully sated.
We got a lot of Grimm fans.
The Grimm cast. Yeah. All of them, I think they were there.
Not the dead aunt, but almost everyone else. Okay.
No, but I walked through her trailer today.
Oh, you did? Okay, so let's backtrack today. Let's talk about day 3 in its entirety. Starting with the panels and press we did, and then kind of other experiences. Tim, I know you got to meet a couple of amazing
I got to meet
casts.
I didn't actually meet him. I did talk to him, but I got to meet an idol of mine by the name of Bob Odenkirk.
Wow.
Ooh, boy, that guy.
Jealous.
I mean, we were talking about this the other day. Is you and I are not starstruck by pretty people or whatever. No. We're starstruck by talented people.
I'm not starstruck by pretty people either. I just like pretty people.
Well,
right, pretty people are nice.
Cool it, Jen, because we want to talk about the people. I mean, I agree with you. I am starstruck by people who might as well be a stranger to anyone else.
Yes.
But if I love their resume, I will fall on the ground and be paralyzed with nervousness.
Yes. And Bob Odenkirk, he kind of redefined comedy for me with Mr. Show, which is still, in my opinion, the best sketch show ever made.
And he, of course, produces Tim and Eric, which is my favorite sketch show.
Yes, and now he plays Saul Goodman on Breaking Bad,
which is the best drama of all time.
That guy has a crazy
which is though one of the funniest dramas.
It's also
as far as
funny.
a super intense drama, it's got a lot of
no show
humor.
does intense, awful suspense with comedy,
Breaking dark
Bad.
comedy. Yeah. And I was in the press room for it today, and anyone who reads the site and reads anything I write knows I love Breaking Bad, and it was one of those weird experiences where I know I'm supposed to be working, but I'm just
you're a fan,
picking up my jaw because immediately Jonathan Banks, who plays Mike, and then Aaron Paul and Bob Odenkirk all sit at the table in front of me, and I'm sitting right across from Bob Odenkirk, and we're talking about Breaking Bad. It was pretty surreal. And it's just they're just as big fans of the show as we are, and they have all their different opinions, and they go back and forth, and I think this, and Jonathan Banks is surprisingly hilarious. He's so funny.
He seems so cool.
He's so cool.
He spoke up 3 times during the panel last night, but he was so...
Every time he talked,
he just seems awesome.
And I just have to imagine, no matter what happens to him on the show, I think he's going to keep being cast in things.
Oh, yeah.
Good stuff.
I hope so.
Afterward. Yeah, he's so memorable looking.
Yeah. But it was a very enlightening press room because everyone had all these great opinions, and I wrote about it. My story's up on the site. You can check it out. Even Bryan Cranston, Vince Gilligan, that room was just filled with genius. It was unbelievable. It was awesome.
And did you meet Dean Norris and
Yeah, Dean Norris and Betsy Brandt, who
Anna
play
Gunn.
Hank and Marie. And
I feel like they're really underrated. They don't get a lot of attention, but they're like the show wouldn't be as good without people without
totally.
them.
Totally.
And you said you had a really funny Bob Odenkirk story with.
Oh yes, yeah. One of the first stories he told, he was talking about how one of the questions came up about the audience and how it's not that big, but it's a big critics hit. And he sat down and talked about his friend, because we all have friends that we introduce Breaking Bad to, and they all like, oh my god, it's great, it's great. Mm-hmm. And he is really good friends with Jeff Garland from Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh, yeah.
And he told us a story about how Jeff got into the show, and he did a pretty good Jeff impersonation, and I believe we have an audio clip for you.
Well, my friend Jeff Garland, who you know from Curb, he just watched all the episodes in the last 2 months, and he was so anybody is after they've finally seen the show. It's like, it's so fucking good, it's so great. Nobody did this. It was good, but I had no idea. I watched it all, and he goes, no one says it. It's about a middle-aged guy. It's about being middle-aged. It's about
that is eerie. Actually sounds like him.
Well, do you want to talk about how mobbed the Breaking Bad autograph signing was?
Oh yeah, because you got
this morning.
Some things
well,
signed.
we tried. I mean,
this is
Tim
separate
and I,
from the press room.
It is separate. Tim and I went to the actual on the floor of the exhibition hall autograph signing this morning.
Which, by the way, as a reporter or someone who in a press,
right?
No press does stuff like that. They just go to the press room and then go back to the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
But so you have to be a real fan to want to brave the throngs.
Yeah.
So Tim and I showed up this morning, ready to get in line, and it was messy.
Did you get it? You got in?
Can we curse on this thing?
Okay. It'll make the baby.
It's
Jesus,
Saturday night.
Jesus will cry.
It was a shit show.
Shit show.
It was a shit show.
This morning you said it was a clusterfuck.
I think the S word's okay.
I like to call it a C fuck. No, but you got some things signed, right?
Eventually at the autograph
did.
session on the floor, it was totally messed up, and they said you need tickets and blah blah blah, and
wow.
I think a lot of people left unhappy, but. I was still going to the press room, but it's not really professional to be like, "Hey, can you sign this after doing this thing?"
I know.
But what was I going to do? So I got a print signed by Vince Gilligan, and he signed it personally to me.
God, that's some geek stuff. That's great.
Yeah, I think Vince Gilligan's one of the smartest men in the business.
And now I'm just jealous because I didn't go to the press room and I missed out on the signing.
Well, what were you doing then? How'd you miss it?
Well, I was there.
Oh, but you didn't go to the press room.
Yeah, it was everybody come show up. But then when you get there, they say everybody needs a ticket, and then
yeah, I want you to talk about what you were doing earlier this morning. Yeah, what was your big thing that you did this morning?
Oh, well, it was this afternoon. But are you talking about the zombie experience?
The Walking Dead zombie run.
Today, while you guys were busy being professional and interviewing famous people, I was at Petco Park. Participating in the Walking Dead escape.
Awesome.
So it's like an obstacle course.
It's like an obstacle course. It was set up along one whole side of Petco Park, which is the baseball stadium.
Right
it's
across
where
the
the Padres play?
Yes,
yep.
where the Padres play. Right across the street from the
here in San
Diego.
And it was the experience of would you survive in a zombie apocalypse.
Now, what is entailed in this zombie?
It was definitely an obstacle course that was kind of like military boot camp in way. There were definitely nets that you had to climb up and then climb back down again. And
I'm
then
picturing
there were
an American Ninja Warrior, you're climbing and jumping and all those things.
Yeah, it was easier than American Ninja Warrior in particular, but it was still, it was an obstacle course with the added terror of shuffling zombie actors coming after you.
Who plays the zombies?
I'm assuming they were volunteers. Some of them were really into it.
Was the makeup convincing? Did they?
It was actually pretty good. Like, really? I didn't get a chance to like. There were questions that I had that I wanted to like find someone who was in the know and be like, so who did this makeup? Like, did they come in costume, or did was there some? Yeah, did they show up this morning and get did up?
But you got bloodied up.
I got bloodied up.
The world wants to know.
Yeah, what happened?
How long did you last?
I lasted not very long. I lasted embarrassingly short.
Zombies descended upon you.
They did a good job of not really giving you much information before you like walked in. They they were like, please be safe and don't do anything stupid while you're in. And you sign a waiver before you go in.
Yeah. When you're in a zombie apocalypse, there's no pamphlets.
Exactly. So it was cool in that respect. And they say, okay, let's start the course, and they kind of like push you through this gate, and you're with a group of like 30 people.
Yeah.
And I realized very quickly that you want to be at the front of that group because you're with a group of 30 people you've never met, and you may be faster than many of them, but it doesn't matter if you can't get past them because they're all in front of you.
Yeah. It's kind of like Comic-Con.
It is kind of like Comic-Con.
It's an extension of Comic-Con.
And like immediately, like someone stepped on my heel and like took off my shoe, and then I was like, I can't get past these people. I mean, like I died like immediately. Whatever, you still get to finish the course.
Yeah.
But yes, I was scratched on the arm by a zombie actor very early.
Wow.
In the game, let's say.
So it was good nightmare fodder, basically.
Oh, totally. It was a very interesting cross between like this like military obstacle course that you go through for training, and also like a way better version of a haunted house you might go through at Halloween, because they also had set up scares where you would come around a corner and someone would like jump out and startle the shit out of you.
The S.
Yes.
And this thing is. I mean, you were lucky to have press privileges, but I think how much was it per person?
It was like $75 or $85. It wasn't.
That's crazy.
It was an expensive experience, certainly. At the end of it, now I did not get this because I didn't pay for it, but at the end of it, you did get a limited edition cover of like the latest issue, the 100th issue of The Walking Dead. So that was really cool. Issue.
I don't know if you know anything about it, but people are talking about it.
Really?
Something happens in it that everyone's unsettled by.
And in some cases, people were like, I mean, I actually overheard people saying,
Carl eats Lori.
I really want to read this, but I'm not caught up yet.
Yeah.
And, like, people were very excited to, like, get their hands on it.
Well, I mean, just to, like, go back to what you were just saying, it's something I think we should talk about is that, like, how expensive things are here. Things are very expensive, and we, as you know, sometimes you're in a good position enough where you don't have to deal with it, like if you're a press and you're doing it for a job. But, like, this experience, I think, if I were here as a fan, I think would bankrupt me. Because you know, like the zombie run is that much, and the things I want to do are all just to get in is expensive.
Yeah, and Subway is like 3 blocks away.
Food.
Yeah, there's no $5 footlongs in the
Just FYI, if you want to buy like a Coke, it's $4. So it's like movie theater prices. You know, it's nuts. Anyway, I just wanted to like throw that in there in case people think that we're just jaded because we get things for free.
Yeah, no, the zombie thing was expensive. The one thing that the parallel I really want to draw though about the zombie experience is that like for people who have been frustrated with the show, especially in the case of zombie rules and whether or not they exist, but you know, as far as how zombies behave, once you get in an obstacle course full of zombie actors who all have their own ideas about how zombies behave, like there were some definite ones that were like, I'm going to sit here, I'm going to sit here, and I'm going to sit here. And then as soon as you walk by, they, like, jump at you.
Wow, that's good.
They were astute. They were astute zombies that were able to anticipate your movement, I think, a little bit better than the ones we've seen on the show, is all I'm saying.
All right. Well, speaking of zombies that know a lot, I went to the Vampire Diaries. Hold on, wait, that's a weird seg, isn't it?
Your segues are getting more interesting as the weekend goes on. And I'm saying interesting on purpose.
Listen, I went to this Vampire Diaries panel, which was in the big main studio, Ballroom 20. And then I actually did press so that was my big thing of the day, is that Vampire Diaries, today was the day for that. And obviously you guys if you don't know, I recap it, and it's kind of my main beat here at TV.com. So it was like important to me to go, and I actually had a really, really, really good time. I sat behind some of the writers from the show, so I was like slightly starstruck from that. And I had a really good vantage point. The panel was great. Kevin Williamson himself did the moderating. And
what was the panel? What was the meat of the panel?
Well, it's actually a panel where they only did Q. It was like just talking and Q&A. They did show a trailer, but it wasn't one of these panels where they show a full episode and then there's 10 minutes. They did a full 45 minutes of talking. And they brought out the cast. They brought Nina Dobrev, Ian Somerhalder, Paul Wesley, Zach Rohrig, Stephen R. McQueen, Michael Trevino, and then like Julie Plec and Kevin Williamson. And a lot of these panels are moderated by other writers, like press, basically, high up press that have paid their dues. They get to moderate. And but in this case, Kevin Williamson moderated, and it was really good. He did a great job, and it leads me to believe that maybe these panels should be moderated by people who are high up within the show, because they know what to ask. They know the boundaries of what you can ask and can't ask. He wasn't trying to get Julie Plec to spill secrets on season 4 because he's a producer and writer on it, so he knows that you can't do that. So
as opposed to having
they'll have
another outlets.
These outlets, they'll be glorified fans basically, and they'll I went to the Teen Wolf one earlier this week, and it was a particularly bad one because, and again, everyone has their own way of doing things, but this particular moderator wanted to just banter and make jokes about the cast, about so when are you guys going to take your shirts off and stuff, and it's which is fine, and they played really well to the crowd. The crowd was into it, but for me, I want to hear about that. I want them to talk about the show. I want to hear things I've never heard before about it, and that happened a lot in Vampire Diaries today. They said some really insightful stuff. The cast had some great stuff to say. Really good Q&A. So I had a really good time. I thought it was there's just enough thoughtfulness to it that it was a good show, and I'm glad that so many thousands of people could be there to witness that. It was just a good show.
So was that mostly about the past season instead of trying to figure out what's coming up in the forward season? I feel like that's a
lot of, you'd think, because they're only on episode 1 right now of season 4, so they don't know anything. But
they have started filming though.
They're a week in, and there was a lot of season 4 talk though. It was a lot of hypothetical stuff. However, it wasn't so much there wasn't a ton of looking back. It was actually looking forward, and because Julie Plec was there and Kevin Williamson, they could actually give hints and thematic answers at least. So. We didn't feel robbed, where a lot of these panels we go to, they don't even know anything and they can't say anything, and you feel it's empty. It's okay, well, what can you say? Nothing. Anyway, so that was really well done. And then the press room was a little bit different. I got to actually be face to face with some of these actors, and that was great because I write about them for a living, and here they are across the table from me. So that was neat. But there was definitely an issue with the actors have nothing to say. Nothing to say.
That's always one of the problems with the timing of Comic-Con. I think we talked about this yesterday, but can I move forward to?
Yes.
Yeah. No, I went to the.
It's our main complaint of the whole convention.
Right.
That it's middle of summer when no one's filming, and anything you ask to a cast member, they'll just say I don't know. You have to ask the writer.
Yeah, and they're well, we've read the first script of the season, but that's all they know.
The saving grace is just if it's a returning show versus a new one, because the new one you've got nothing. With the returning one, you can try, I guess, to get some additional information.
Absolutely. The only other thing I did today was I did the following, the new Kevin Williamson show for Fox. I interviewed Kevin Bacon and James Purefoy and Sean Ashmore. Yeah, I know, right? It's
you met Kevin Bacon.
I sat next to Kevin Bacon.
You are a degree of Kevin Bacon.
0 degrees of Kevin Bacon, and it was truly great in that respect. The thing that wasn't so great is that they haven't even filmed episode 2. They've just done that pilot. And so none of them could say any. Everything was hypothetical, and it can be frustrating because you really want to have insight or anything, but all they can say is you have to ask Kevin.
Yeah, and most of it's not even they can't say, it's that they don't know.
They literally don't know. They don't know anything. In fact, the following is especially different because they're going to change locations entirely. They're moving to New York for the rest of the show, so everything's going to change. from episode 2 on. So like they can't say anything. Like so you have to ask hypothetical things like where do you draw for inspiration for your character?
Yeah.
I mean, I think I asked that of James Purefoy. I was like, Hannibal Lecter, and he was like, no. That was that question. I mean, so it was like shit. I just ruined my opportunity to ask him a question. So, what's your inspiration? He's like, no one. So, but with a British accent, and he sounded classy. So, anyway, it's like so it can be frustrating to like talk to people about shows that don't exist yet.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I did that. I went to Revolution. I actually did. It was interesting. I think maybe because they're both the same studio, but it was Person of Interest and then Revolution back to back.
I think that's so weird, even if they are the same
but
studio.
But it's J.J. Abrams, so it's like
kind of. But I mean, Person of Interest is all about the implementation of technology, and Revolution is all about taking technology away.
Total obliteration of technology.
Yeah. So Jonathan Nolan, who's really smart.
Christopher
Nolan's brother, Dark Knight writer. He does Person of Interest, and he went on this long diatribe about how technology is used, blah 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 blah. And then Eric Kripke, who is the showrunner for Revolution, comes along, and 15 minutes later, he's telling us about how the world without technology, blah blah blah. I just thought that was interesting. Just to have that back to back.
No.
I mean, I found it weird that it was combined in the first place, I guess. But
Yeah, but I did find out that Jim Caviezel and Michael Emerson, my God, they just need there needs to be a camera on them all the time because they love each other and they're so weird. Both of them are so weird in their own different ways, but they get along so well and they're just hilarious. Jim Caviezel sat down and he said, "It's really simple. He's the smart one and I shoot people," and that's how we started the table. And he also does a really good Homer Simpson impression.
Oh, let's hear it.
You want to hear it?
Yeah.
Well, the audio clip isn't very good, so apologies for the quality. But he does a good one.
All right, let's do this.
I just hope that we're in the same ballpark as The Simpsons. I love that show. It's my favorite. My favorite show. Love The Simpsons. In the finale.
I do a good impersonation of Homer Simpson. Don't, Spark, what do you think you're doing?
Before we move on, I just want to read this text message that Tim sent to both Price and I earlier today, which was basically, I just want to let you guys know, he went to go get food because he hadn't met up with us yet, because my hands were shaking from hunger. Or was it Jim Caviezel's eyes piercing my soul?
In all caps.
In all caps. Yeah.
I think it was the latter.
Yeah, I mean...
Tim had a good time today.
Yeah, if he looks at you, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Tim has a hetero crush on Jim Caviezel. Yeah. And in a weirdly similar fashion, I saw Taraji P. Henson earlier today, also from Person of Interest, and she looked like a goddess. I mean, I was like flabbergasted. She, some of these famous people, you see them in person, and they're like, oh, that's why they're famous, because they look amazing. Put a camera on them right now. So that was exciting.
Yeah.
I saw an Oscar nominee. And then, I guess that wraps up our day. So, did you guys see any other costumes that you particularly enjoyed today? I will say that I saw a man version of the Black Widow from the Avengers. And my favorite thing is
still on that gender reversal.
I love the gender reversed things are my favorite, and so that I just felt like that's particularly gutsy. It was a guy with a red flat top and in a pleather jumpsuit. It was great.
I saw today, and I don't actually know how to describe this. I saw a guy today with an entire suit made out of sewn together stuffed animals.
Wow.
It was like if someone made an entire outfit out of Beanie Babies that were stitched together. And I have no idea what it was supposed to be or anything.
I hope you had a little ET head in there somewhere.
I have no idea. But I mean there were it was you could do a scavenger hunt just on his costume of so that was interesting.
I'm a kind of a Futurama nerd, and my favorite was Zap Brannigan. He had the short skirt and everything, and that was hilarious. The Futurama.
He's a muscly guy.
Yeah, he's Zap Brannigan.
Yeah. Tim, is this an Adventure Time thing? But I saw it was a kid dressed as what looked like maybe a chipmunk, but with a rainbow train. Is that
rainbow train?
Almost like a rainbow was emanating from the back of them, and someone was carrying it.
Lady Rainicorn.
Is that Lady Rainicorn?
It sounds like
I don't
it.
know.
Did she speak Korean?
That's not unclear at this point. I just saw someone walking, but
Or
it was
did
like
she have a translator box that had an old man voice?
Again, I'm in the dark on this, but that's an Adventure Time character.
That's an Adventure Time
This
character.
is getting weird.
I thought so.
You guys,
No,
this is
because
getting weird.
but it was a cool costume. I was like, I wish I knew what that was, but I feel like that's Adventure Time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Tim said this on day one, but Adventure Time has like almost dominated
Who knew?
the whole
Yeah.
thing the whole time.
great.
Is it because the
fantastic.
designs are so iconic that it's like fun to dress up as those things?
I don't know. It wasn't like this 2 years ago.
I think it's a very easy costume to put on. Well, not Lady Rainicorn, but like it's really easy to be Finn, and it's just I think it really plays into the playful spirit of Comic-Con.
It does, and I mean, I don't know. I almost have started to view so in downtown San Diego right now, because the whole downtown is taken over by Comic-Con related stuff. But there's this huge inflatable Finn balloon
It's awesome.
thing.
It looks awesome.
It does look awesome, and it's become this like beacon of like every morning we leave our hotel and go to the convention center, and I'm like, oh, there's Finn.
I'll be wandering around outside, like I don't know where I am or where I'm going, and I'll look up and see Finn. I'll be like, okay, so it's north. Now I know which direction I'm
Exactly.
looking at now. I can
Finn
always
is
look
the
around
new
and see
North
Finn.
Star.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, so I guess that wraps up our day. It's been a weird, cool one, but
It was a weird day. I got eaten by a zombie today.
Jen got eaten by a zombie.
You met all the guys.
I met-
you guys both met your heroes. Basically.
I don't know if
I got eaten by zombies, and you met your heroes.
Yeah.
That's how I would sum it up.
And
It's
we
true.
wrapped up the day at the party where you took a picture with David from Grimm. Mm-hmm. I got to hug on Astrid from Fringe.
Yeah.
Jessica Nicole.
And who did you get to take a picture with, Price?
Guys, if you follow me on Twitter, you'll know that I met the actor who played the Almighty Thor. Hold on, wait for it. The Almighty Thor from the sci-fi original version of Thor.
Yes.
And his name is Cody Deal, and I met him. He's actually doing press here as a reporter, not as an actor. And I recognized him because I have maybe I'm autistic, and I recognize people that are not as famous. And I cornered him. I was like, "You were in a sci-fi original called Thor, weren't you?" And he was like reluctant, but he's like, "Yes." And we took a picture together, and I tweeted it. So there you go. So it's that, and Deborah Wilson from Mad TV are my two big starstruck who would have thought starstruck moments. So
check those off your life quest.
my bucket list has just gotten shorter. Anyway, so yeah, that wraps up our day, and so I guess tune in tomorrow for our final day, which is a big one because it has Fringe and Supernatural.
Fringe is Supernatural, but it's a shortened one. Hopefully, I'll be able to get in the Fringe panel. I will definitely be going to the Supernatural press room.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, but it's also a light. It's other than that, it's a light
It is a
day.
light
It
day.
closes
It's a
early,
wrap-up day.
and we all have to get back to our respective homes.
So that I can write about True Blood and Teen Wolf and all the shows that matter.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening, and I hope that we'll talk to you again on the internet soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.